I'm going to show you how to make a simple shooting block for a door when you're working on site and you have a lot of doors to fit. It's quite useful to have some sort of mechanism or some sort of block which will allow you to hold a door in a reasonable position so as you maybe wish to plane something off of it, fit hinges into it, that sort of thing. And it's quite a very simple and straightforward thing. It just involves a little bit of marking out and just a simple sort of housing, if you like. So there's not a lot to it. Let's crack on and show you what we do. So using just a simple piece of timber, whatever we have on site, it may be a bit of CLS, it may be something like a bit of 100 by 50, whatever you really need. So first things first, before we mark out, what effectively we need to do is to create some sort of a wedge. The wedge can be anything you like, but ideally something in a region which will be not too tight, so not a really steep wedge and not a very thin wedge. So something that's reasonable, could be, I don't know, about 15-20 degrees, something in that region. It doesn't have to be overly long. So we can just put some sort of line in it like this, a little square line off the end and across. At the end of the day, this is just site carpentry, it doesn't have to be massively accurate. So just using ordinary saw and working down this piece of end grain, all I'm going to do is cut my wedge from this piece of timber. The accuracy doesn't have to be massive, it's just something that we can use to help us when we're actually working on our doors. So something as simple as that taken off is more than adequate for what we require. So taking a square line across. Now what we need to do is to work out our sizes of our doors. So in this instance our doors are 35 millimeters, so I'm just going to mark on here 35, just a quick square on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on to that roughly about halfway across my width of my wedge and just put a line down the side. So that creates an angle, including my wedge, for my door. A couple of little lines down the side. And again, being site carpentry, it doesn't have to be that exact. It can be as good or as rough as you like. Using a gauge, I don't know, halfway down your timber if you want. We can put a couple of little gauge lines in here. And on top of that, a little pencil line so as we can see it a lot better. So we can just put this into our workmate or bench or whatever we have. And all we're going to do is put some cuts into this piece of timber. Roughly down to our lines, and on this side, which is our angle cut for the wedge. To make life a little bit easier and simpler, a few cuts down through the middle. That just allows us to take the middle out a little bit easier using hammer and chisel. So using our hammer and chisel, we can quickly take out the middles, flipping it round, and finishing it off just using our chisel set. Down to our little gauge line. This gives us a nice clean recess, which is all we're after. So, very, very simple, very easy. So, if this was our door, we could put our door in there and our wedge could go into that to lock it up nice and neatly, which I'll show you right now. Good thing about this, you could always just put a nail in there and keep your wedge. Why not? Useful thing to do. So here we have our shooting block, our wedge. Here we have our shooting block, our wedge with our hammer. All we need to do is put our door into there, our wedge. 2 taps and our door is nice and firm, nice and solid, and it doesn't go anywhere. 5 minutes will make you a quick shooting block, allows you to work on a door nice and easy. To remove the wedge, foot on the block, just tap it out, nice and simple. A useful bit of kit. So here we have our door. We can just put our door onto the block, putting our foot on there, with a hammer, and our door stays nice and firm, nice and solid until such times we need to take it out. We can work on it by cutting hinges and putting bolts on it and things like this. To remove it, just tap the wedge the opposite way, keeping our foot on the block, door comes out. For all you site carpenters, a useful bit of kit.